Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. So we're doing part 2 of our video, the video that I made earlier talking about the potential game structure for Gotham Knights. And yes, I have Assassin's Creed Odyssey here on the screen because I may want to, say a few things that may, in a sense, push the boundaries of the conversation, but I think it's necessary. When we first saw Gotham Knights, I had just played Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I had just beaten the story of the game. And the very first thing I said to myself was, whoa, there are striking similarities from this Gotham Knights reveal. It was quite obvious that the developers were applying specific things that had been in that game, or just may have been coincidence. I mean, look at the emblems on the heads of the bad guys. Basically posted around some kind of a fortress. You see Batgirl herself approaching the area, and there is about to be some shenanigans going on. She grapples across and is on a huge ledge in the structure, and then followed by that, she engages in some kind of predator action after Robin, basically vanishes and does his little zippity zappity thing that he's doing all over the place, right? And it's really cool. That looks like Wayne Manor or something like that. It's pretty interesting. The little emblems that are there or whatever it is. And you can see that these are elements that you're seeing right here in Assassin's Creed, Odyssey. I mean, look at it. Look at the bad guys and look at the emblems on their heads in this fortress. I mean, I can literally make my way there. Are they bad guys? It's quite relative. This game kind of makes you as a Mystios somewhat ambiguous, in a sense. You don't necessarily have allegiances other than allegiances to your mom and to your family, and that's basically all, he's got as the protagonist here. So look at them. They have the emblems on their head and they have the level that they are. And, captains and much more tougher bosses or, different mercenaries and all that, they have the same system. Yeah, your character, if you chose Cassandra or I think it's Alexios, that's his name. If you choose any of them, they have a gear system that has different levels of gear items, different rarities, and then different items that you as a player can basically engage in. So on a basic level, we're seeing this game structure from Assassin's Creed, and I'm looking at this Gotham Knights game. I look at the engagements with her here. And as she's fighting, XP is flying everywhere, which is something that, you're seeing on the top left corner. And, you just have to tell yourself and say, it seems like they wanted to adopt some of these. And I'm not saying Assassin's Creed is the first to have adopted this. Don't get me wrong. But I'm saying that it seems like they've adopted some of these things. And it's interesting because even her, I mean, it looks like she does have a set of, gear items, potentially with rarity. I mean, you see one with gray and one with green, and I'm saying to myself, whoops, is this common? And is this, better? You know how it starts, right? There's the common, there's the epic, there's the legendary, and all that. Is this what this game is going to provide for players, down the road? And I think this is one of the reasons a lot of players really did show a little bit of, concern regarding the game structure. Now, here's the truth. There's no need for concern because if they make the game some sort of a closed system, then you're going to have the potential for a solid game. But if they open it up like a live service thing where the game's core is based heavily on the gear system, then that's when they're going to lose a lot of fans. And I think that's one place that they have to be really cautious because the Assassin's Creed formula with Valhalla, with Odyssey, with Origins, it seems to me that those systems are quite decent. Now, Valhalla has its problems in the sense that it's just too much, but you do see that with the ability system in Odyssey, with the gear system in Odyssey and the items and all, to me, I felt this game was fair, balanced, and, it was big. It was a big game, but the game did not make you feel like it was impossible compared to, say, Valhalla. Valhalla really did ask a lot from you. This game did have a lot that it asked from you, but it wasn't necessarily that bad. It did get monotonous, I understand, but honestly, if I played a Batman or Bat Family version of Valhalla, I would be fine because that is a story. Those are villains that I actually have a lot more of an interest with than, say, a mystical character that's written in ancient ancient Greek timeline, or is it? I don't remember what Greek timeline this is, but one of the Greek timelines that you can, or Greek civilizations, or whatever it is that you want to call it, the setting. But in my mind, I think Gotham Knights, if it adopted that, it would put it in a modern scenario. That's what you're seeing here. There's everything that we'll think about enemy NPCs. They will still follow the same rules. You have melee NPCs. She's fighting here against these NPCs. They're trying to surround her. And then you have a projectile NPC, this one that's got this really weird zappy gun. And so it's just regular development and rules that game development follows. That's just the normal thing. And you're seeing those elements here. And you also see those XP bars. In fact, let me go fight so that you can see some XP bars in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, so you don't call me crazy, all right? Because you'll be like, oh yeah, you're crazy, man. Here it goes, XP bars. There it is. Hey, XP bars. I'm just being silly, guys, and I just want to be. I'm just being, I'm just being silly. Look at this character. He is does a projectile character, but they're shooting bows and arrows, and that's their deal. They're just shooting bows, shooting arrows, and that's all they're doing. Right? So that's another really interesting thing that you get to see here. I'm gonna run away, or I'm just gonna hit pause, or whatever it is. And at the end of the day, I think if they close up the world, then this can be meaningful. Because here in Assassin's Creed, the world is closed. You engage in the world, you engage in the story, you engage in the the plot, you engage in dealing with and taking over territories, but not necessarily owning them 100%. They continue to go back in terms of the power, the power balance. So one faction or one state can own a nation, the Athens, and then before you know, the other nation owns this area and all of that stuff, and it continues to flip back and forth. And it still provides replayability. You can level up further than level 41. You can keep going all the way to 91 and dealing with all kinds of bad guys. And the DLCs that were added, you have to go deal with like maybe mystical creatures, mystical baddies, and all that. And I think the opportunity is here in Gotham Knights to structure the game like that, but still make it unique to the world of Gotham, and to the villains of Batman, and even with the Court of Owls, that being some sort of a dungeon setup where the knights have to crawl a dungeon to see and figure out this Court of Owls nightmare and threat. That also provides a whole nother layer to the game. I mean, they did allude to the underground verticality that you're going to have in this game. If many of you didn't see it, it's right here. When she's basically, using the little ice, I don't know, like an ice whatever to, jet and get some, I don't know what it is. I don't know why she did that. She could have just grappled on here. But you do see the subway station that's here. So that's telling us that Gotham is going to have a lot of, space and movement if they actually design the world like that. I think they should do it. I think they should create some sort of a controlled Gotham and then allow for a lot of underground tunnels, a lot of vertical towers, and all of that you can access. That way it kind of gives more depth to the game, but doesn't make it kind of a useless open world where you could just roam all over the place. Because again, Assassin's Creed does have that in there. Assassin's Creed, you could just keep going anywhere you want to go. It's kind of an unlimiting factor in a sense in the way that it's designed. But these are my thoughts nonetheless regarding, the game structure that I said there will be stuff I would like to see from the other games, but then you also see that there are quite closer similarities from what we've seen, the little nuggets that they've given us. And you look at this and you say, well, could this be what it is? And some people may not want this to be associated with Assassin's Creed at all. You may not want Gotham Knights to get close, but it is what it is. It's what we're seeing right now. Here's also another light down the road. If you were to kind of say, okay, well, none of these really feel appealing to me. Well, they've been quiet about this game for a long time. Maybe they've gone back to the drawing board and they've removed all of this stuff and gone back to the straight up classic, version of the game. Like, you go in there, you beat up bad guys, you get XP, but we don't see it flying around the screen. We don't see the bad guys leveling up. We just have baddies, we have bosses, we have challenges based on the boss's intellect, that's AI design, and all of those other things. But we'll continue this conversation. I really have some more nuggets to show, in terms of other game structures that I'd like to see, and we'll bring it closer to home with the other Arkham games. So I appreciate you guys so much for listening to the video and for watching. Thank you so much for rocking with the channel. All your support is much appreciated, and hopefully we'll talk in another video. Peace out.